Hey Hoops fans, welcome to GDW Sports, your home for the hottest NBA highlights. From buzzer beaters to epic dunks, we've got it all. Buckle up and let's dive into the thrill of NBA highlights. The Pistons' 28th loss in a row was unlike any of the many other defeats that came before it in what is now tied for the longest losing streak in NBA history. The result was the same. Detroit opened a 21-point lead against the league-best Boston Celtics on Thursday night and then rallied from a 6-point deficit in the final minutes to force overtime before the Celtics recovered to win 128-122. It was the first time all season the Pistons led by more than 20 points, and the first time they had gotten to overtime in the 2 months since their last win. Detroit fell to 2-29 and matched the trust-the-process Philadelphia 76ers with 28 consecutive losses. The Pistons need a victory at home against Toronto on Saturday night to avoid breaking the NBA record for longest losing streak. In major North American sports, only the NFL's Chicago Cardinals, who lost 29 straight from 1942-45, have had a longer losing streak. Boston erased a 66-45 second-quarter lead with a 19-5 run in the third that turned a 15-point deficit into a 77-76 game. Kristaps Porzingis had 8 of his season-high 35 points in a 10-0 run that turned a 4-point deficit into a 106-100 Boston lead in the final 2 minutes of regulation. Jaden Ivey scored 6 straight points for Detroit to tie it, and then, after Jason Tatum was credited with a layup on a replay-confirmed goaltending call, Bojan Bogdanovic made a putback on Cunningham's missed 3 to send it to OT. But Derek White scored 10 of his 23 points in the extra period and Porzingis had 6 in the overtime, dunking after a full-court pass from Tatum and then sinking a pair of free throws to make it 125-117. Tatum had 31 points and 10 assists for Boston, which won its 4th straight and its 9th in the last 10 games. The Celtics, who were without Jaylen Brown, are 15-0 at home this season and have the league's best record, 24-6. Ivy had 22 points and 10 rebounds, Jalen Duren had 15 points and 14 rebounds, and Bogdanovic had 17 points and 12 boards. The Pistons set the NBA record for most consecutive losses in a season Tuesday night with their 27th in a row, a 118-112 loss to Brooklyn. The Sixers' streak stretched over 2 seasons, 2014-15 and 2015-16. NBA assists leader Tyrese Haliburton had a career-high 20 without a turnover and scored 21 points to help the Indiana Pacers hold off the Chicago Bulls 120-104 on Thursday night. Questionable to play before the game because of a sore lower back, became the 5th player in NBA history to have 20 or more assists without a turnover, following Kevin Porter, 1978, John Lucas, 1983, Ricky Green, 1984, and Chris Paul, 2016. Miles Turner led Indiana with 24 points, and Buddy Hield added 19 points. The high-scoring Pacers were 19 of 42 from three-point range en route to their 2nd straight victory. Haliburton made 3 late three-pointers to quell a furious Bulls rally, which had seen them take a 93-90 lead with 8 minutes remaining after trailing by as much as 25. Haliburton assisted on a Hield three-pointer that extended the Pacers' lead to 19 early in the 3rd quarter, and jubilantly mimed a timeout signal to the Chicago bench in celebration, but the Bulls had a 14-1 run and cut it to 85-77 entering the 4th. Patrick Williams led Chicago with 22 points, and DeMar DeRozan had 21. The injury-riddled Bulls have lost 2 of their last 3 amid a 6-game homestand. Kobe White has picked up much of the offensive slack while All-Star guard Zach LaVine has missed the last 14 games because of inflammation in his right foot, but scuffled to a 5-for-19 shooting night while scoring 16 points. Anthony Edwards scored a season-high 44 points and Rudy Gobert had 20 points and 11 rebounds as the Minnesota Timberwolves held on for a 118-110 win over the Dallas Mavericks on Thursday night. The Mavericks were without Luka Doncic on the 2nd night of back-to-back games. Dallas fell at Cleveland 113-110 on Wednesday. Karl Anthony Towns added 10 points for Minnesota, which improved to 13-1 at home this season and has not lost back-to-back games all season. The Timberwolves trailed by 1 point midway through the 3rd period before going on a 15-3 run to gain control and lead the rest of the way. Doncic missed his 3rd game of the season with left quadriceps soreness, while Kyrie Irving missed his 11th straight with a right heel contusion. Dallas coach Jason Kidd said Doncic aggravated a quadriceps injury during the Christmas Day win against Phoenix. Without its 2 leading scorers, Tim Hardaway Jr. scored 32 off the bench and Jaden Hardy added 17 for Dallas. The Mavericks have lost 5 of 7. Minnesota seemed ready to cruise past the short-handed Mavericks, racing to an 18-point advantage in the first quarter, with Edwards scoring 14 of his points and aggressively going at Dallas defense. Turnovers by the Wolves kept Dallas in contention and Hardaway's shooting provided a much-needed spark. Minnesota had 22 turnovers, leading to 29 points for the Mavericks. Hardaway finished with 18 of his points in the second half and shot 11 of 19 from the field and 5 of 11 from three-point range, knocking down several shots with a hand in his face. But Edwards sparked the third-quarter rally with 7 of the 15 points during the run. Dallas closed within 4 points in the fourth quarter, but consecutive three-pointers by Kyle Anderson helped Minnesota stay in front. Brandon Ingram and Trey Murphy made clutch shots from outside, Larry Nance Jr. provided intensity in the paint and the Pelicans broke their habit of falling apart at the end of close games. Ingram highlighted a 26-point performance with a momentum-turning three-pointer inside the final 3 minutes, and the New Orleans Pelicans held on for a 112-105 victory over the Utah Jazz on Thursday night. The strong finish was a relief for the Pelicans, whose last 3 losses were by 2 points or less, 2 of them after blowing double-digit leads in the second half at home. Ingram's 3 gave New Orleans a 102-98 lead. Soon after, Dyson Daniels went to the floor to grab a loose ball and delivered a clever bounce pass between Lauri Markkanen's legs to the perimeter, where Murphy, who'd missed his first 6 shots, made his first of the game from three-point range. Nance followed that with a cutting dunk on a feed from Zion Williamson to make it 107-100. Utah was within 109-105 on Markkanen's free throws with 38 seconds left before Murphy put it away with another 3 with 18 seconds to go. Williamson had 21 points and 10 rebounds for his second straight double-double and 5th of the season as the Pelicans outscored the Jazz 62-42 in the paint. C.J. McCollum added 22 points for New Orleans, which snapped a 2-game skid. Colin Sexton scored 26 points for Utah, which had won its previous 3 during a 5-game trip that ended in New Orleans. Markkanen had 24 points and 10 rebounds for the Jazz. Walker Kessler hit all 5 of his shots and finished with 11 points while Jordan Clarkson had 10 points. But Hardy did not want to lose sight of Utah's recent improvement. McCollum had 14 points in the first half, when he hit 4 threes. Nance finished with 9 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals and a block in 25 minutes. His cutting dunk gave New Orleans its largest lead of the game at 57-46 in the second quarter. Markkanen's 3 and Kelly Olynyk's putback helped Utah cut it to 59-51 at halftime. Nikola Jokic was perfect from the field and free throw line, finishing with 26 points, 14 rebounds and 10 assists as the Denver Nuggets posted their highest point total of the season in a 142-105 win over the short-handed Memphis Grizzlies on Thursday night. Jokic was 11 for 11 from the field, hit his only 3-point try and went 3 for 3 from the line. The performance followed another near-perfect outing after he converted all 18 free throws Monday in a 120-114 win over Golden State. It was the 116th regular season triple-double of Jokic's career, and that ranks 4th all-time in NBA history and 22 behind Magic Johnson for 3rd place. Russell Westbrook tops the list with 198, and Oscar Robertson has 181 all-time. Jokic went to the bench Thursday after feeding Christian Braun for a dunk with 1:31 left in the third quarter and completing his 11th triple-double of the season. Gordon is out with lacerations on his face and hands suffered from dog bites on Christmas. Memphis played without Ja Morant, who was sidelined due to illness. Morant missed his first game since returning from a 25-game suspension at the start of the season. The Grizzlies had won all 4 games in which Morant has played since making his season debut December 19 at New Orleans. Desmond Bane led Memphis with 23 points, and Marcus Smart scored 17. Memphis is 6-20 when Morant is out of the lineup. Jamal Murray scored 20 or more points for the 4th straight game, finishing with 23 points and 9 assists for Denver, which has won a season-best 6 in a row. Murray had 10 points in a high-scoring third quarter when the Nuggets' lead reached 32 points, before the Grizzlies cut it to 23. Denver outscored Memphis 41-35 in the period and led by as many 38 in the fourth. The Grizzlies led by 8 early, but a 16-0 Denver run spanning the first and second quarters gave the reigning champs a 15-point lead. Memphis closed within 45-41 midway through the second period before the Nuggets went on an 18-2 run for a 65-48 lead at halftime. Tyler Herro had 26 points and 7 rebounds to help the short-handed Miami Heat beat the Golden State Warriors 114-102 on Thursday night for their fourth straight victory. Star forward Jimmy Butler sat out his fourth straight game because of a strained left calf, while Kyle Lowry, soreness, Caleb Martin, sprained right ankle, and Josh Richardson, back discomfort, also were unavailable for the Heat. Jamal Cain added 18 points and 6 rebounds, and Bam Adebayo and Jamie Jaquez Jr. scored 17 points apiece as Miami kicked off a 5-game West Coast swing. Even knowing the Heat were not at full strength, Coach Steve Kerr and the Warriors were bracing for a tough one. The Warriors, who had won 8 games in a row at Chase Center after opening the season 1-6 on their home floor, lost in San Francisco for the first time since November 18 against Oklahoma City. Golden State dropped back under .500 overall at 15-16. Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson scored 13 points each for the Warriors. Curry was held off the board until he hit a three-pointer with 3:44 remaining in the second quarter. The star guard had taken only 3 shots before breaking through, held to a more passive role by the defense. Moses Moody and Andrew Wiggins each had 11 points as the Warriors were limited to 37 of 88, 42% shooting. They were 8 of 33, 24.2%, from three-point range. Golden State entered the day averaging an NBA best 47.4 rebounds per game, but Miami held a 44-43 advantage on the glass. That's one aspect of the Heat's game, along with their overall physicality, that Spoelstra would like to see hold strong over the course of their road trip. Victor Wembanyama had 30 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists and 7 blocks, and the San Antonio Spurs beat the Portland Trail Blazers 118-105 on Thursday night to snap a 5-game losing streak. The teams will meet again in Portland on Friday night. Wembanyama had 30 or more points for the third time this season. The number 1 pick in the draft scored 30 in a loss to the Los Angeles Lakers on December 13, and had 38 in a win over the Phoenix Suns on November 2. Wembanyama put on a show in a matchup against fellow lottery pick Scoot Henderson. Henderson finished with 25 points, 4 assists and 6 turnovers for Portland. Jeremy Sochan added 16 points and 7 rebounds for San Antonio. Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant each scored 29 points for the Trailblazers. The Spurs never trailed, building a 28-point lead in the first quarter and carrying a 38-14 advantage into the second. The Spurs shot 14 for 21, 67%, in the quarter, while Portland went 5 for 23, 22%. LeBron James had 17 points and 11 assists 2 days before his 39th birthday. Anthony Davis had 26 points and 8 rebounds, and the Los Angeles Lakers sent the Charlotte Hornets to their 9th straight loss with a 133-112 victory Thursday night. Rui Hachimura scored 17 points and Austin Reeves had 16 for the Lakers, who won for just the third time in 9 games since winning the NBA's inaugural in-season tournament nearly 3 weeks ago. Los Angeles pulled away from the struggling Hornets with a blazing 41-point third quarter led by Hachimura and James, who scored 12 points apiece. Los Angeles surged to a 28-point lead early in the fourth, and coach Darvin Ham rested James and Davis for the full final quarter of a rare blowout victory for these Lakers, who have only 8 double-digit victories all year. James may be the NBA's oldest player, but he shows zero sign of slowing down in his 21st season. He hit 2 three-pointers while quarterbacking the offense for long stretches, and he led the decisive third-quarter rally. Los Angeles finished with a season-high 41 assists. D'Angelo Russell scored 16 points while hitting 4 three-pointers for the Lakers, including the 1,300th of his career. Reeves provided the highlight of the second half with a slick behind-the-back move to get past Terry Rozier for a layup while Los Angeles ran away. Miles Bridges scored 20 points and Rozier had 18 for the Hornets, who are on their franchise's longest skid since late 2014. Charlotte hung with the Lakers throughout the first half, but struggled against LA's zone defense after halftime and eventually lost its second straight game at this shared downtown arena to begin a 6-game trip. Los Angeles area native LaMelo Ball missed his 14th straight game because of a sprained left ankle for the Hornets, who must play both LA teams, Phoenix, Denver and Sacramento in 8 days on this trip. Charlotte also is missing Gordon Hayward, calf, and big man Mark Williams, back. Hachimura started slowly from the field after rejoining the Lakers' starting lineup in place of Cam Reddish, who sat with a groin injury. But he led the way with James and Davis while the Lakers made 10 of their first 12 shots in the second half and burst to their first double-digit lead of the night. Los Angeles had its ninth starting lineup combination in 32 games this season. The Lakers were forced to use 39 starting lineups last season, but James and Davis have stayed largely healthy so far this year, missing just 5 games combined. Coach Darvin Ham said he expects Davis and James to be available for both legs of their upcoming back-to-back road games at Minnesota and New Orleans to close out 2023. Big thanks for tuning in for your daily dose of NBA excitement. If you enjoyed the highlights, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more action-packed content. Catch you in the next video.